You best be interviewing the old-timers before it's too late. They've got a lot of great stories to tell.
You are tired, man. I've had you.
I fell once and he had to pick me up off the ground.
I did. Tell them a good story, something about this area, one that you can share.
Well,
What area is you interested in? This area?
I'm interested in all of it, but yeah, this is close and easy and convenient, so I like this area a lot.
yeah. Well, when I was about 20, 21 years old, I came up here and we started searching for a mine, but we didn't have any names to it or anything like that. Just that it was somewhere up Dry Fork. So me and Cecil came up and we had anything off of the roads, we had to walk. We didn't have horses, we didn't have any way of transporting ourselves except on our feet. But you get to see a lot of things that way. So first thing we found was those caves up there and the bridge, rock bridge. And so Cecil, he was kind of like a little rat in the ground. He went all through them tunnels up there and crawled through the little places that normally people wouldn't even go in, you know. But he went everywhere through those tunnels up there, and he couldn't find an ounce of anything in them. And there was stories that there was gold there. And I told him, well, you know, if there's gold there, Cecil, it's not from mining here. It's been stashed here by somebody. So then I don't know if you know the story about the lady, the elderly lady that came from Mexico up here, met with the sheriff. Mm-hmm. You know all that. Mm-hmm. Well, she said that those caves there, that they used to sleep in them. And one day they had a mine up here. And she said we was doing pretty good at it, and we had a nice smelter and all of that. He said, but me and my uncle, I was just a little girl then, she said, me and my uncle decided to go out and kill a deer. We needed some food at camp. So we left and we finally shot a deer and cleaned it, hung it in a tree, and then we was going to have the boys come back and go up with a horse and bring the pieces back in. But when we got there, we could see all of our family laying on the ground. The men, the children, and the women, all of them had been slaughtered by the Indians. So we waited until we knew it was safe to go in. So we took all of their bodies and took it inside of the mine. And it was the mine that they, done this at. She said that we put the children's bodies in first and got them in there, and then our members of our family we put in there. There was a couple of dead Indians, but when we arrived, we seen them load them on the back of a horse and haul them out. So I don't know where they took the bodies to, but we put our family and everything in there. And he said then we took rocks from all around that we could find and very carefully built a rock wall inside there. And then, so people wouldn't find it, we kicked dirt up in there. It was kind of a steep area. We kicked dirt down over the entrance of the mine and then actually planted some I don't know if there's flowers. I think just native type of maybe weeds or whatever on the tops of those rocks that they placed there, because they put dirt on them too. And so that's what I look for in trying to find that mine. They call that mine, I think, the mine of the lost souls. Not positive, because the Spaniards had more than one mine here in this canyon. Some of the very old Indians that talked to me about it told me that there were Spanish mines in here, and they named about 4 of them. But he says some of them are real high up in the mountains. You have to have the proper equipment, different things like that. I never did come back after we come up that first time. We couldn't find what we wanted to find, and I didn't get back up here until the last maybe 10 years of my life. And then I got paralyzed and had to quit until Terry decided he'd carry me on his back. But it's quite the country. Those stories of the mines are true, but you have to be able to dismantle what people have said. Whenever the Indians dealt with gold, they hated the white people because of the death that took place in their families or their grandfathers or whatever. You know, it was, and you wouldn't believe how many Spaniards they had in this country. Wapasak, Henry Wapasak, a good friend of mine, lived over towards Altamont in that area. I went to his house one time and talked to him, and then he told us, I want to tell you some stories. And he went in and got some papers that he had written, and he called it the Wapasak Chronicles. And I don't know if people around here have seen it, but I was lucky to see it, go over it with him. But he said over on the Duchesne River, he said that was the biggest area where there was Spaniards and mines going. And he said after the Indians decided to do that portion of the Uintas, because they only done portions at a time to get rid of the Spaniards, he said that they brought in Navajos, Paiutes, Shoshones, and several other tribes. And he said, before we finished gathering the Indians that we needed, I'm talking we for him, he said we had 3,500 Indians that was in here, and we were greatly outnumbered.
By the Spaniards.
By the Spaniards, greatly outnumbered. So you can see how many Spaniards there's up here and opening mines. Mm-hmm. All over, even from the top over that onto the north slope of the Uintas. Just, you name it, they were in here, and that's why you hear people talk about finding Spanish signs all the way up over the Uintas into the Brown Duck Basin, and cannons that's been found. There was a doctor here in Bernal, and they was going up Lake Fork, and he decided to get off the trail and just go look a little ways. And as soon as he got off the trail, just maybe 10 or 15 steps, he spotted a cannon where the Indians had taken it and took it off the trail, and tried to cover it up, I guess. So he said that cannon had grown right around, the tree had grown right around the cannon and encapsulated it. So he had to come back and chop it out. He chopped that thing out very carefully and sawed it. And then he took it out and brought it out. He's been very careful. I had his name, and I think I still have it on a little card. Anyway, he's been very careful of showing that to anybody for fear that the government would come after him because of the antiquity laws. And they've changed them, and I think they possibly changed some back again too, but they changed it to the point of ridiculous, because the way that's written, anything over $50,
50 years old.
50 years old, became antiquity, antiques.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous, You couldn't pick anything up.
Mm-hmm.
A knife, rings,
A penny.
pennies.
1950 penny, man.
How about a
Can't pick it up.
43? Yeah, that ring right there was made by an Indian. I took him up and showed him a mine over by Brown Duck Basin, and showed him where it had been caved in, and then cats come. He crawled up on the dump and the top part of the mine, and I said, "What are you doing up there?" And he said, "Oh, I'm just getting some mineral." About 2 or 3 weeks later, I called him and told him I wanted to come down and go over some things with him. He said, "Come on down." So when I got there, he had his hand. He says, "Here." He put that ring in my hand. And I said, "Where did you get that material?" He says, "Up there, when you took me to that mine up there, I got it out of the veins up there. Little veins of copper and different things."
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I could talk for hours, but I'm tired, so I won't.